NFL Network. For more information on the NFL Salute to Service initiative and to find out how you can thank a hero, make sure to visit NFL.com/salute. So a lot of neat things that are happening that certainly a lot of the teams are doing, and obviously you can go on to NFL.com to do your part as well.
Appreciate you, Will. Back with three-time Super Bowl champ, five-time Executive of the Year, Scott Pioli. We were talking about Tom Brady and the Patriots a little bit ago, and you scouted him before the Patriots took him in the 6th round. Now, their offense struggling a little bit. He didn't score a touchdown or throw for one last week. There's concerns on Twitter or among analysts. Do you want to put those to rest quickly right here?
Well, there's always concern, right? Every time something doesn't go perfectly or near perfect, there's concern with the Patriots. And then they figure it out. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to happen this time, but I would say analytics guy, right? The likelihood is, the probability is it's going to be okay. It may not be perfect, but it'll be okay.
Let's go to another quarterback situation. You've worked 25 years in the league, and you've seen all sorts of quarterback deals. Fans in Chicago are feeling restless. Forget even the injury, just the future. What do you do with a number 2 overall pick who's not fulfilling expectations in Mitchell Trubisky?
Well, you go out and you draft a Hall of Famer in the 6th round, right?
It's very simple to do. Everyone's doing it.
It's tough next year, too, because they don't have a first-round pick next year. Here's the thing. Regardless of where you think Mitch Trubisky is, you need to give him a little bit more time. You need to figure out exactly what he is. Now, he may not be the answer. I think it's trending towards, I don't believe he's the answer. But if you make a choice like this, you trade up and you make a decision like this, you have to let it run its course. It's close to running its course, I believe. But right now, it's great. Everyone wants to move on from Mitch. And I had a great coach tell me one time, it's great. You want to move on. What's the alternative? Give me an alternative. Right now, they don't have an alternative. So until they have one and they figure out how they're going to get one, it's Mitch Trubisky.
All right, number 2 overall pick. How about a number 1 overall pick? Tampa Bay had one. They used it on Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
A few years later, he hasn't really looked like a franchise quarterback moving forward. How would you handle the situation in Tampa Bay?
Well, this is a tough one because, well, it's tough, but it's easy. It's tough because you've got this player, and again, you don't have a solution on the roster right now. You need to go out and I am not a believer that he's going to be an answer. I don't believe he's a starter you can win with. One thing that's been consistent throughout his career is his inconsistency and his lack of dependability. He's a turnover machine. And again, I'm not saying anything personal about him. As a player, as a performer, it's clear you have to move on. And if Bruce Arians can't get this fixed, if BA can't get it done, no one's going to get it done because Bruce is an incredible coach. He's very thoughtful. He knows how to work with everyone. Again, another wise saying I heard from a coach, if someone tells you who they are, believe him. And I think Jameis Winston's told us who he is.
This past offseason, there were a lot of stories about running backs getting paid. Zeke comes to mind. Melvin Gordon comes to mind. Even previous to that, Le'Veon Bell sat out a whole season and walked away from around $15 million. I think the biggest question now is, do you pay a top-tier running back when he's in his prime?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say, Nate. I think it's a philosophical thing, because it's not just about the running back. Who else are you paying on that team? If you are going to pay a quarterback elite money, then there's other places you're going to have to cut some corners. You can afford to pay elite money to a running back if you're not paying an elite receiver, if you're not playing an elite tight end or a quarterback. You know, when I watch some teams build themselves, you know, the Patriots are a great example. They have been extremely fortunate that Tom Brady consistently takes far less than what his market value is and far less what not only his own, but what other players' market value is. In the case of running backs, I've never been a big believer in paying running backs high dollars. But again, part of that is I'm spoiled, and I've been now when I was in Kansas City, we paid Jamal Charles what seemed like a lot of money, but by the time that contract was living a year, it wasn't a whole heck of a lot of money. Right. I get concerned because it's such a tough position in terms of durability and the shelf life and career. The term of a career for a running back, it's a really difficult investment to make.
Let's look at all 32 teams. I want to know who's crushing it. In the last 10 months, who has done the best job of assembling a squad?
I got to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I got to go with the San Francisco 49ers. It's John Lynch, but it's also Kyle Shanahan. They are working in unison so well. And, you know, I spent a couple of years with Kyle, and I've said this to him personally. He is as close to Bill Belichick as I've been around in terms of his pedigree, right? He's a coach's son just like Bill was. So Kyle has this knowledge and intelligence about football that is rare. And it's a blessing and a curse at times because he's so smart. He knows so much football, just like Bill. Sometimes they get frustrated with people who don't understand what they're saying and don't work as hard as they're saying because they were both raised similarly to. They're both absolute workaholics. You know, the other thing is with Kyle, he's as good a personnel evaluator for what he wants and what he needs, and he knows exactly what he wants his left tackle to look like. He knows what his left guard, and those positions are different. Not all tackles are the same. He knows exactly what his tight end looks like. He knows exactly what his number 1 running back looks like and what his number 2 running back. When we were in, it was a great time to spend with Kyle. When we were in Atlanta together, he knew he wanted a back that was like Devontae Freeman, and he wanted someone like Tevin Coleman. And when you have a coach who knows that much about what he wants, maybe he can't find it on his own. Well, when you're a personnel guy, that was one of the blessings of being with Bill Belichick. I knew exactly what he wanted, so I knew exactly what I could go out and find.
It's like a shopping list.
And I was able to tell the whole scouting list. When Thomas was a college director, I was able to say, Thomas, this is what we're looking for. So Kyle's ability to lead and tell people, this is my vision, and communicate his vision, that has made things so much better for John Lynch, for Adam Peters, for everyone in that organization.
We could pick your brain all day.
Yeah, for real.
No, let's tell you, you don't want to. It's about on empty right now. It's about on empty. Come on, directional state university. We're about running out.
Asking so many questions. We've got breakfast back there for you. I feel like we did a lot of taking and not a lot of giving. So help yourself to some breakfast and some more coffee. Thank you so much, Scott Pioli, for being here with us today. More Good Morning Football, of course, on the way. Came down to the final drive. All the